everyone. We'll be going live with Annapoorna Murli, who is also called as Amma's Puntu. She'll be joining us very soon. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi,
Good
welcome.
evening.
Yes, very good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And in pregnancy, there's one day that I'm super energetic, and the next day I'm like, at a full day, thunga vidunga and I'm in that phase currently.
I cannot relate it to you because as a second time moms, the challenges might be little differently. Yeah. Okay.
Very challenging.
Um, so we are going to talk about it. Whoever has joined here, so I'll give little bit intro about the speaker here today. She is Annapoorna Murli, who is also called as Ammas_Puntu in Instagram, and she is a lactation counselor. Not just that, she is also infant massage trainer. Has been being a lactation counselor, she has set an example of breastfeeding her son till 3.5 years, which is not easy, to be honest, in this current living lifestyle. And she has also weaned her son naturally, which means she's got more knowledge on how to wean and counsel people on how weaning can be done. Also, being keeping all this aside, she is also an entrepreneur who is running a small business. She is selling homemade healthy food for kids. So whoever is actually with us can also inquire about her products in later after this live. So without any further ado, let's get into the topic. So the topic is going to be today about how to prepare your body when you are pregnant for breastfeeding, because most of the mothers might not consider this breastfeeding phase during the pregnancy because they are overwhelmed, they are very happy and all that. They might not even consider this breastfeeding phase as one. So for you as a second time pregnant mom now, how do you feel and how is the body reacting to you, and how do you feel, what are the changes that you see right now?
See, in terms of breastfeeding, I would say generally when a mother becomes pregnant, no, her only criteria is when am I gonna hold the baby, or is it gonna be a girl baby or a boy baby? This is all that she's been dreaming. This is what was my case with the first one. So, and we are clueless about breastfeeding. We have no knowledge, and we think it'll become naturally. It'll be a success. Either you might, there are women who are like, Kandipa, I want a normal delivery. All that goals are there, but in terms of breastfeeding, it's zero. It was the same with me. I wanted this baby, that baby, I wanted to look like this, and all that was there. But in terms of breastfeeding, it was a blunder. Well, and zero preparation. Since 3.5 years, 4 years back, they were a handful of lactation counselors, but it was not that in trending. But glad this generation, the coming people, they have so many
Yeah,
people
true.
around. They can gain a little bit of knowledge from the workshops they are conducting. It is not in terms of business, but I tell you, any workshop, you can vibe with anyone. No, you generally, there are many people, you vibe with someone, you join their workshop and gain minimal knowledge, so that will help you when the child is born. So this is something I would say anybody, because you give birth and then after 15 days you're struggling. The baby is not latching, low milk supply, and there are truckloads of people who are coming and giving all sorts of advices. That is the worst thing that can happen. So a little bit of knowledge, do your own research or join a workshop, do something to have a little bit of knowledge about breastfeeding, because it doesn't come naturally. It is not happening naturally
Yeah.
now. These days, it's not natural. It's because most of the cases are cesarean cases where there is the baby is not given to the mother immediately. And
Yeah.
those days, it was maximum cases where vaginal birth and the child was given immediately to the mother, and instantly the baby started to breastfeed. When there's this distance that is made, breastfeeding becomes stress. So that is how it goes.
I agree. I can
Is
totally
there
relate it to you because
something
I
wrong
was
with the
one.
internet?
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it okay?
I'm able to hear you, but your
If in case
visual
of
is
input, okay. Uh, just in case if anyone has an issue, please you can comment down as well. And if any queries related to pregnancy versus breastfeeding, please, I would request anyone, if you have any questions, you can put down in the comments. So how does this pregnancy feel? what are the challenging part that you see now? Because then you might have been the first time pregnant mom, you might not, everything would have been uncertain, but right now you would know what is going coming your way, right? So knowing everything, what are the challenges that you saw right now?
Current challenges is having a toddler at home and managing him. And I feel super guilty when I give him this excessive screen time. So it puts me into
Yeah.
so much of guilt. According to his age, he can watch around about 45 minutes to 1 hour a day. But when it goes beyond that or something like that, I feel so guilty. But then it's in a dilemma. Okay, you're feeling guilty, but it's your body. You need to take care. This is how it is. In terms of body and the toddler, this is one thing, and a lot of anxiety for the days I'll be spending in the hospital. Though my
Okay.
son is bonding very well with his father, though my mother is there to take care of him and all that, the only thing that keeps running in my mind is who's going to take care of the little one when I'm in the hospital. So he's like, Nee poitu va, na papa kuda irundhupen. All this is there. All that mature talk is there from a 3.5-year-old. But that is the only thing running in my mind. No matter how this baby is kicking and all that is happening, but only thing that is running, that is the only thing. And in terms of breastfeeding, because this journey has been challenging, that I'm well prepared. Again, I have no no aim goals in terms of birth, vaginal birth or C-section, because first one was a C-section. So this time, more than C-section or a vaginal birth, my goals are successfully breastfeeding the little one. And I took a lot of time to recover during my first delivery. After my first delivery, I took like 5.5, 6 months to recover, to do household chores, run around the toddler and little infant. I took a lot of time to recover because my body was so weak back then. But this time, the only criteria is after birth goals are a list. That is the
Now,
thing, Nandi.
like, very informed, you are sounding very informed, right? You have all informations in your hand, and you have, be it whatever birth it's going to be, you have all informations in your mind, so that you will have a smooth journey is what I can actually sense it.
Because I'm not the same Annapurna who was 3.5 or 4 years back. No, there's a lot of change. We've been growing, learning, unlearning a lot of things. So even now, if I think that it's my time, I need some time without the little one, without my elder child, husband, just leave me. Or I don't even want the infant next to me. Also, I will not feel guilty. Here, catch this little baby. I'm going out with my husband. This so I would be ready to say that now. But maybe when my son was born, I wouldn't even have opened my mouth because I would have felt guilty. What mother are you? What kind of a woman are you? All this nonsense I would have got to hear, but now I have all the guts to tell that.
Great. I mean, great to see that energy. Um, and also, I have most of them in my community are already mums.
Okay.
Some are planning for second time. So I would want you to, as a counselor, already you are now. So how do you think they have to prepare for their labor, and how they might feel anxious? That's for sure. Maybe if not now, once they cross the 34th week, they get closer to 36th, 37th week, they will definitely feel anxious. So what advice would you give them to overcome that anxiousness of labor and delivery?
Labor, definitely, I would say again, for someone who has zero knowledge, attending a workshop,
Yeah. Okay.
staying positive, definitely to stay positive. I mean, like your recent reel, which said that keep telling something positive to yourself, because I
Yeah.
know even now, I feel there are some days where it's very draining. I have doubts that will I be able to deliver this baby happily, healthy baby and all that. Then I start writing down. If not, telling to
Hmm.
myself doesn't work, you write down, because I believe in the
Yeah.
concept of journaling and all that. I have a lot of belief. So if you're feeling that drained, start to write down positive things. You find a lot of affirmations on Google also. You pick up 5 affirmations that you
Yeah.
like and write them every day religiously. That will help. That is there.
I totally
And in
accept with you. Yes.
this writing positive affirmations or manifesting anything about your baby or aftercare of the baby, write it down. When you write down, no, things work much better. So I would say write down, because I don't know if everybody is having a positive pregnancy experience.
Yeah.
Some woman might be pampered by the entire family. There's another woman who is juggling between work and household and all that. There's
Mm.
someone who is not in a good status with the husband that
Yeah.
time. It can be anything, personal issues. So I would suggest write down. It'll hardly take 5 minutes here. So when you write down positive things, it just gets into yourself. So doing that will help. Attending a workshop will help you in gaining knowledge. There are mothers who say, I did attend a workshop, but during the time of delivery, my mind was blank. But then,
Yeah.
no matter, they might say it is blank, but still, until she is getting into the labor room, she will have the knowledge. Maybe during the pain, she's lost all of it and all that, but until then, she is not anxious, and she is doing something or the other that she's got from the workshop. So that will help. Another thing I would say is taking care of yourself,
Mm.
not expecting that you want someone to come and pamper you. That is very obvious. It's made obvious that I want my mother to come and pamper. I want my husband. Social media is there. You see somebody's massaging my wife's leg and all that. You get influenced. Social media is totally, it influences and then it puts you down. So instead of doing that, do it all by yourself. Why are you expecting it from someone else? Because it differs from woman to woman. And when they see social media, I get women who send me a forward me a reel and they say, akka avanga husband இப்படி பண்றாங்க எங்க வீட்டுக்காரர் இப்படி பண்றது இல்ல. How do I talk to them? Because I'm not a counselor. I'm not a family or a relationship counselor. All that I can say is don't expect and don't get influenced. So I would say take care of yourself all by yourself, like eating healthy, doing little bit of exercise. If not these yoga, labor yoga and all that, little bit of walking, little bit of movement and all that, that will help. Because I religiously have this habit of taking a shower every night, applying this oil on my tummy, doing a little bit of face cream. No matter Vihan is shouting, "Ni enna pandre, enakku cream food," all that is running around. But I do this. This is my 30 minutes me time. I want to take a
Oh,
shower in hot water and then wear my good night clothes. I do put it up on my story also. There are
very
mothers who don't
nice.
do all that.
Oh.
When you do that, you have a little bit of good vibes. ஒரு நல்ல feel இருக்கும்.
You
அவ்வளவுதான்.
might even encourage, unknowingly, you might encourage somebody who's actually seeing you on the other side. Probably that is something that they want to see for that day.
Maybe,
You know,
maybe coincidentally it is
just in
popping
time.
up for them.
Yeah, yeah. It might be like a just in time that they would want to see you and get, be it it's influencing or whatever it is, it might actually have a positive impact actually. So I think you are the right person for me to ask, because you are also having a profession on one side. Also, you have breastfed your baby until now. So, how did you manage your profession versus breastfeeding phase? Because I get a lot of queries who are working moms who are not able to balance their breastfeeding phase, plus they also go to work. So, what are the few things that they should keep in mind to balance both?
So in my case, I could breastfeed him 3.5 years, 3.3.5 years. It's just been 1 month that he's weaned off. So I could do that. I'm stay at home mom. So with this profession that I'm juggling here is is being at home. So I can have my own convenience. I can put up my workshops. I can fix my consultations according to my convenience. That is one privilege that I have. When it comes to working mothers, they'll have to have a backup plan. Matlab, I mean, if they're joining work in the month of January, you will have to pre-plan everything by the time of the month of
Hmm.
December. Maybe you're joining work tomorrow, and in 2 days, if you pre-plan, things will not work. You will have to
Hmm.
give yourself, the baby and the caretaker, a 1 month of plan where if you're pumping milk or whatever you're going to do, or if you're going to partially wean the baby. I mean, day weaning, I'm going to wean off my baby during the day, but night I will be weaning. So even that you'll have to do a practical thing at home, and then you join work, then this thing of stress is less when you do that.
Okay.
But mothers, what they do is they're joining work in 1 week and they come up for a consultation and they say, I want to learn pumping. I want to day wean. I want to completely wean off the baby, which is not practically possible. So you'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah, yeah.
pre-plan things if you're joining work. And
Yeah, even
mostly it's night weaning is the thing that maximum mothers struggle.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I was
that
about to
is
ask that question. How actually do they have to prepare for this night weaning? Because they have fear of tantrums, night tantrums. They feel that the baby might, um, might not have that bonding, and they will have trouble in sleeping and all that. They fear a lot of things, mums. So how actually should they, handle this phase?
So, first thing, if they think that they stop weaning and the baby will sleep through the night, which is a
Ah,
myth. The baby will not sleep through the night. According to their age, only they will learn to sleep. It differs from child to child, 2.5, 3, some 3.5. My son is 3.5, but still some days he wakes up once in the night.
okay.
So
Mm.
it differs from child to child, and if they think that I'm going to wean off and sleep peacefully, it's not going to happen. So if that is their goal to stop breastfeeding, then I would suggest no, don't stop. Because rather than waking up in the middle of the night and mixing cow's milk or formula or whatever instead of breast milk,
Mm.
that is going to be difficult. But when it comes to breastfeeding, you just going to wear comfortable clothing and you'll have to feed the baby on the cot, or you can even sleep and sideline
Understand.
position. You can sleep and feed the baby. But when you get
Okay.
switch to formula or something like that, you will again have to mix all of that at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, which is another task. So if they think that is the thing reason, I don't suggest mothers to wean off. But
Mm.
they have other reasons. They have health issues or joining work or night shift. Then yeah, you'll have to work on it with a lot of patience, consistency, and again, don't hesitate to ask for help. Help get the pug. You have to ask for help to somebody who's there next to you, and slowly it will work. Children will understand with time.
Okay.
Rather than
That is something
abruptly you
actually most
stopping
of them are at.
breastfeeding,
Uh-huh.
టక్కున you stop breastfeeding, that's a heartbreak for the child. Rather than that, you give them an intimation that slowly I'm going to stop. The child at least prepare himself.
I agree. So I think most of them could relate to this, and if they can actually pick up from here, they will be able to do it. Because most of the moms, like you said, they want to abruptly wean off. That is actually not a good idea for mom as well as for the baby. So mentally preparing the baby is way better. So one thing I wanted to ask, as a pregnant mom, if is it harmful to breastfeed baby, or is it harmful to express milk during when some mom is pregnant?
So if your second pregnancy is a safe pregnancy, you can go ahead with breastfeeding your baby. So, like I
Okay.
was pregnant and I did breast. I had plans of not weaning my son, but then he himself weaned off. But if your pregnancy is safe, your hemoglobin levels, thyroid levels, and everything is fine, and doctor says you're good, you can go ahead with breastfeeding. Continuing to breastfeeding your older one, and then when the little one is born, your priority will be the second child.
Okay. So there is nothing harm, is what you're saying. So
No, no, no,
also
definitely.
I wanted to know if in case if the mother is pregnant and she is breastfeeding her baby, how do you think she should maintain her supply and the food intake? How should they? Because there are certain foods that they should be having during the pregnancy. Food and the breastfeeding food is can go along, or there should be any variations when they have when they breastfeed and being pregnant.
In terms of breastfeeding, if they want to maintain the supply is not going to dip. Even if you're
Not
pregnant, your
gonna dip.
supply is going to dip,
Okay.
because it works on the simple concept that you remove breast milk from the breast, you produce a lot of milk.
Yeah.
So the baby is suckling and you will be your toddler is suckling and you will produce enough. In terms of your own energy, you will keep draining because
Yeah.
breast milk is pulling out a lot of kind. For that, you will have to eat a good, healthy, proper diet. So you don't have to eat
Okay.
anything exclusively to increase your breast milk supply because the child is already breastfeeding in full fledged. But since
Mm-hmm.
your body is draining, you will have to
Mm.
plan a meal where you have good amount of protein, carbs, and all that. So, and as well as
Okay.
keeping yourself hydrated because you are already making cooking. One is cooking in the tummy and the other one is breastfeeding. So you'll have to keep yourself hydrated. That many people fail, but they'll have to keep themselves hydrated.
Okay. Okay, let me see if there are any questions. Actually, one mom pinged me saying that she has got a 2-month-old baby and she's able to breastfeed her baby well, but the baby cries after the feed, half an hour after the feed. So the mom is confused if her milk is sufficient enough or not. But the mom is saying when she pumps, she's able to get good amount of milk out. She's able to have a good output. So she's confused if the baby is crying out of hunger, or it could be some other reason.
So yeah, crying is always correlated with being hungry. A baby is
Yeah.
crying means it's always it's hunger, but there can be multiple reasons for the baby be crying. And newborns until 3 to 4 months, they are 3 months, it will take time. That's why that phase is again called the fourth trimester, no? So that
Mm.
baby will take time to settle down. So the baby will cry when the child is not in comfortable clothes, baby is missing mother, feeling cold, feeling hot. I just want my mother. I want to be carried by my mother. The baby is gonna cry. So for a new mother, I would say keep an eye on the urine output. How many times is the baby urinating? That is an amazing indicator that the child is getting sufficient amount of breast milk. If the baby
Okay.
is urinating 7 to 8 plus times in a day, that is in solid 24 hours,
Okay.
and pooping also every day, she doesn't have to worry. That is one thing. And another thing, after feeding, if her breast is soft, if she feels her breast has become soft,
Mm.
then she can go ahead. There's another confusion that my breast is already soft. So I would say compare it with the other breast. So you will
Okay.
find a little bit of difference in your shape of the breast, and you will know that the baby has got sufficient amount of milk.
Oh.
So the child is crying is because the baby wants the mother. But here I see many people, they don't let us keep holding the baby. You've
Mm.
heard this, no? If you keep holding the baby will get used to you. கையிலே வச்சிருந்தா அது என்ன சூடு உடம்பு சூடுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. This is another myth. So, but when you keep holding the baby will calm down. Rather than putting the baby in a jula or a totil, when the mother is snuggling the baby and sleeping, the baby is much more satisfied and the child is not crying. So another thing, when she says she's pumping and seeing her output, there are mothers who do that. They press and see if they're getting sufficient amount of milk.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
when you
they do
press
that.
her,
Yes.
they see
Ah.
only few drops and they become anxious that, oh no, I'm not making enough milk for the little one. So it is
Mm.
not that way. Nothing like a baby directly breastfeeding. Pumping comes with
Okay.
practice. Your output
Yeah.
increases with practice. But when nothing like baby directly breastfeeding. So pumping
Okay.
is, there are mothers who want to pump, who want to try it because it's trending now, but it's
Yeah.
totally a mother's choice. So when
Mm.
you directly breastfeed, the output is amazing. And pumping also it will be amazing, but with a practice, routine, having a schedule and all that, they can have a good amount of output. Diet, stress. Again, if a mother is stressful and then you see her output will go down. So
Yeah, yeah,
currently that particular day the output is down because she is in stress, or
yeah.
maybe her period, she's had her periods, she's feeling tired and all that, there might be a dip in the supply. But when it comes to direct feeding, baby is just feeding her, and just have an
Ah.
eye on the urine
Oh,
output. That
okay.
is enough.
So, the consuming spicy food will will have an effect on the breastfeed, because that's a common myth that people keep asking, can I eat dal? Can I eat spicy food? Will it have an effect? And that's why today my baby is crying because I had spicy food yesterday. I had biryani and all that. So people have this lot of doubts. Is it actually true, or is it a myth and people don't want to accept that it's
It's a
not
myth.
true?
It's a
Okay.
myth. I would say eating anything in moderation is the key. That's
Okay.
all.
Okay.
If you eat anything in moderation, it's a key. But if you have habituated your body like eating the bland food and all that, and all of a sudden you eat something spicy, it's definitely going to affect. But from day one, if you're eating a moderate diet and all that, it will not harm. I used to have this craving of pizza and biryani and all when I used to breastfeed, because I had this latching trouble, and trust me, the skin around the nipple would peel off, and I would have bleeding nipples and all that until 4.5, 5 months. So only rescue was some, give me the Domino's pizza kudunga, I'll be fine. That kind of thing and all I used to have. But I used to eat. I wouldn't gulp in the entire pizza, but I would just have one slice of it and then I'm done. So that is how
Okay. Got
to
it.
eat in moderation. So there are mothers who ask me that I'm craving to eat this particular biryani from this particular restaurant. Can I eat? I would say, yeah, go ahead. Because again, not eating that, again, holding on to your cravings is another stress.
Okay.
So I would
I
say you eat, but eat in moderation. That's
okay.
all.
So I have one last question. So there's always a saying that as much as you remove milk is how much you are going to produce, right? Move milk to produce more milk. So as if mother is breastfeeding, how will she be able to empty one breast and then go on to is it like 15 minutes, or does she have to actually feed on one side and then she has to move to the other? How will she be able to empty one breast?
So good question. Yeah. So for example, you feed your baby at 8 o'clock. So the baby has been feeding for like 15 minutes. And initial days, they're cluster feeding. So they might go ahead like 30 minutes, 35 minutes and all that. So it's one breast at a time. And then probably the baby
Okay.
slept off and again wakes up around 9:30. So it's going to be the other side. So it's going to be the other side
Okay.
because it's one time, one breast, because the first part of the breast milk is just water. It's more about water, but the one at the end of the breast is going to be more of fat content. So what happens is
Okay.
if you do
Yeah.
this 10 minutes, 15 minutes thing, you will see that the baby is urinating because the baby gets the water part of the breast milk and the baby is urinating, but the baby is not gaining weight because they are changing every 10 minutes and the baby is not getting that fat content from the breast milk. So it's just one breast at a time. Like even
Okay.
if it's going to be for 1 hour or half an hour, whatever it is, it's just going to be one. And in new mothers, I would say you can have this hairband in your on your hand because they're
Okay.
feeding it continuously.
They
So
forget.
you might forget. So you can
Ah.
have a hairband on this side. I fed him on this side, so you can put this band here. Again, okay, this side. Okay, again switch the hand band to this side, and again this is what I used to do because they
That's a good trick
continuously feed.
actually. Okay.
I used to follow this, and this is a tip for new mothers. Three
Ah.
until 3 months is how it's gonna be. After that, the child will have a routine. You will also start to understand, so that they can.
So, as an infant massager, I have a question from my personal friend that is தலக்கறி சாப்பிட்டா தலை நிற்கும் அப்படின்னு எல்லாரும் சொல்றாங்களே அது அது கேட்கறதுக்கு ரொம்ப காமெடியா இருந்தாலும் பட் பீப்புள் கீப் டாண்டிங் யூ சே உன் பையனுக்கு தலை நிக்கல உன் பிள்ளைக்கு தலை நிக்கல பிகாஸ் யூ டிட் நாட் ஈட் தலைக்கறி ஹவு டு யூ ஆக்சுவலி என்கவுண்டர் திஸ்
அப்படி எல்லாம் இல்லைங்க. பால் குடிச்சா பால் வரும்னு சொல்றாங்க. So that is another annoying thing. But அவங்களுக்கு தெரிய மாட்டேங்குது நிறைய பால் குடிச்சா அந்த குழந்தைக்கு வந்து அந்த காலிக் இருக்கலாம், டைஜஷன் இஷ்யூ இருக்கலாம், because milk is high in protein. So when you consume a lot of milk, your breast milk composition is again changing, and the breast milk composition is again having a lot of protein. So நான் என்ன சொல்றேன்னா, நீங்க லிட்டர் கணக்குல பால் குடிக்கிறீங்கன்னா கட் இட் டவுன் யார், கட் இட் டவுன் டு ஒன்ஸ். ஒரு டம்ளர் நீங்க குடிக்கிறீங்க, ஓகே. தேர் ஆர் பேரண்ட்ஸ் ஹூ கம் அண்ட் சே தட் நீ இப்போ ஃபீட் பண்ணிக்க இந்த பால் குடி, 1/2 லிட்டர் பால் அந்த மாதிரி. தேர் ஆர் மதர்ஸ் ஹூ ட்ரிங்க் லைக் 1 லிட்டர், half a liter of milk. It's the same thing with this massaging concept also. But massaging you can start from day one. அது பண்றது வந்து இட்ஸ் பாடிக்கு ஹெல்ப் ஆகுதோ இல்லையோ, ஐ கன்சிடர் இட் as a way of bonding with the child. So you were looking at the baby, you're looking at the child, you're massaging the child. From day one, the baby is seeing you. Breastfeeding also, what happens, you breastfeeding, you're on the phone. But when you're massaging, you are looking at the baby hands, tummy, nose, and everything. It's so cute to see. And you can go up to a certain age, 3.5 also, you can massage the feet and all. So now like these, like at 3 years and all, they'll start having this growing pain. So kaal vali mari ella varum. So you can give them a massage at night and all that. Just a rub
ஓகே
on the leg, on the calf muscles, on the toes, they'll feel very nice. That is
ஓகே
another way. You can talk, communicate, and bonding da enna பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் massage is a way of bonding. It has truckloads of benefits. But இந்த மாதிரி தலைக்கறி எல்லாம் சாப்பிடணும், உங்களுக்கு தலைக்கறி பிடிக்கணும், நீங்க அழகா சாப்பிடலாம். But அதனால நிக்கும் நல்லா கிடையாது. It differs baby to baby, but you can put your baby the tummy time சொல்லுவாங்க. You can put your
எஸ்
baby. So when you do tummy time, that will help in the head. But with age, நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி 11th month itself, people are, they want their child to walk. They want their grandson to walk, grandchild to
8
granddaughter
மாசத்துல
to walk.
எடுத்து 8 எடுத்து வைக்கலன்னா மம்மி தான்
அவ்வளவுதான்.
பிளேம்ட்
ப்ரெஷர் ஆயிடுவாங்க. அதே மாதிரி குழந்தை வந்து 1.25 வயசு ஆயிடுச்சா 4 வார்த்தை தான் பேசுதா, இதுக்கு மேல பேசல, அது ஒரு ப்ரெஷர். தே வாண்ட் தேர் சைல்ட் டு டாக். பேசுறதுல பேச ஆரம்பிச்சா அவங்களால நிப்பாட்டவே முடியாது. சைல்ட் இஸ் கோனா கண்டினியூஸ்லி டாக். சரி கொஞ்சம் லேட்டா பேசினா ஒன்னும் தப்பு இல்லை, 4 வார்த்தை தான் பேசுறான், சொல்லி இன்னுமே வடிறான். திஸ் இஸ் சம்திங். அது வந்து
யா
என்னன்னா, செகண்ட் பிரெக்னன்சி யூ வில் பிகம் ஸ்ட்ராங். ஃபார் அ மதர் ஹூஸ் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் பிரெக்னன்ட், first time when she listens such things, it might make her angry, it might make her stressful. Ayo nama tappu pandromo, she might feel guilty also. And sometimes they might go end up fighting with the person also, ஒரு சண்டையில போய் கூட முடியலாம். But second pregnancy you will come to a state that okay நீங்க சொல்லிட்டே இருங்க, I'm an ignore தான் என்னோட மந்த்ராவா இருக்கும். You will come to that stage because people will never stop taunting or giving you advices. So இது
ட்ரூ
வந்து what happens in a first pregnancy, you get overwhelmed, ரொம்ப டவுட் குழப்பம் அப்படின்னு. Second pregnancy you're prepared for it.
யா
So you get prepared. Weight or obsession, எல்லாமே. And weight is something that you will be, as a mother, lifelong you will get to hear. Overweight இருந்தாலும் you will get to hear. If the baby is lean and thin also,
இல்ல
you will get to
ஆல்சோ
hear. This is something you
Very true.
will get to hear throughout your lifetime. நீங்க பாட்டி ஆயிட்டாலும் உங்க பையனுக்கு கல்யாணம் பண்ண வைக்கிறீங்க, என்ன உங்க பையன் இப்படி கல்யாணத்துக்கு முன்னாடி நல்லா தேத்திருக்க மாட்டியா, இப்படி கூட சொல்லுவாங்க. இது சொல்லிட்டே
Yeah,
இருப்பாங்க.
these criticisms and unnecessary aunties' comments are always, free
Free.
welcome. Free already,
Free
always.
become free. So that
Uh,
is there, but as mothers I would say, when you work on all on yourself, when I keep putting it up on my stories that work on you've become a mother, you're a family woman, stay at home, என்னவேனா இருக்கட்டும், when you start taking care of yourself, doing something that you like, when you set strong boundaries and all that, all these things will not affect you.
mm,
Your priorities will change, and they all this will not affect you, because I used to be someone back then who used to react, cry in the room. I have done all that. I would shout. Maybe there are some places where you cannot react and you
mm,
control all of it, and then you come to your room and then you cry. So all
mm,
this will happen, but you'll have, I would say, you achieve as a woman when you come to such a state where all that doesn't hurt you,
mm,
or you don't have to bother. Maybe it might hurt you, but it doesn't go deep within you,
mm,
for
mm.
which you have to work on yourself. So I had a consultation 2 days back where the mother is not in a good terms with her husband, her parents, or anything, and she's under depression where she's being admitted to the hospital and all. And she came up to me and said that she wants to breastfeed her baby desperately, and she doesn't want to formula feed. But as a lactation counselor, the first thing that I said her was, you will have to first take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Formula is better than you getting into depression. So
Mm,
if breastfeeding again is tiring, it's not something easy. It's a full-time job. It's tiring. You'll have to feed through the night and all that. And the baby is just 15 days old. So I
mm,
said, more than breastfeeding, for now I would say you will have to work on yourself. Formula kudta prachana illa, it's not an issue. Formula is fine. Rather than cow's milk, you're going to formula, that is fine. I'm very much proud of you. So you can go ahead with formula, but work on yourself. Because if you
mm,
lose yourself in this process of depression and all that, the child is going to be a question mark. So your
mm. I agree.
priorities have to be your child. So you have to work on yourself. Then you come to this formula or breast milk, baby not latching, baby crying, and all that is later. So
Mm,
formula babies are healthy. I would not demotivate any mother who has exclusively formula fed. It can be her
mm.
own reasons to formula feed her body. Maybe she would have tried her best and then she
Yeah.
failed. Maybe because of what people said, crying, pal patala, you don't have enough milk, you switch to formula, and they switch to formula. All this happens, so it's okay. Formula feeding is okay, but you'll have to take care of yourself. நீங்க தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட், அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் ஃபார்முலா தாய்ப்பால் எல்லாமே, அது it comes after all that.
I think it's a great message. Actually, prioritizing oneself is very much important than anything else.
Definitely.
That's a very yes, that's a very actually strong message that you've told, and the affirmations that you said, affirmations and manifesting on someone's need, on someone's well-being is also very important. That's something you have actually told from the beginning till now. You have been very strong on that. I
Because
think you have
used
been.
to write down. I used to write down that I will breastfeed my son for, because all that I knew that time was
Hmm.
World Health Organization recommends to breastfeed till 2 years. இது மட்டும் தான் எனக்கு
Yeah.
தெரியும். So I would write down that I would breastfeed my son for 2 years, and it was pandemic that time, and I had one of my very close friends' wedding, and my son was like 2.5, 3 months. So I wanted to attend the wedding by any chance. In the end, I used to write every day in all that, and the pain, valley, and all that. I would have a notebook next to me, and I would write that I would breastfeed my son for 2 years. I will somehow attend my friend's wedding. These are the two things I wrote, and the two things are a tick mark. Successfully, 4.5 months, 5 months, the pain went. One side there was pain, one side there was not no pain slowly, and then by 5 months the pain went off like some abracadabra. It went off. And then, since I struggled so much, kept on telling people that I will feed him. People came and told me that he will not naturally wean. So in
Hmm.
public places, he will want to be breastfed. So I would tell them on face, in public faces, if a 1.5 year or a 2 year old is asking for ice cream or a packet of Lay's, we are
Yeah,
fine with
it's.
it. It's
Mm.
completely fine. But when it comes to asking breast milk, what is it to be ashamed about? Because from day one, the child has been breastfed. ஸோ அவங்களுக்கு வந்து அது வந்து ஒரு நார்மலான ஒரு ஃபுட்டு தான். அதுல வந்து நீங்க லேஸ் கொடுக்கறது ஆர் எனி ஜங்க் வந்து உங்களுக்கு ஓகே. lollipop கேட்டா உங்களுக்கு okay, but தாய்ப்பால் கேட்டா என்ன தப்பு? This is what I would say. Because children will drag you to the room to be breastfed
Yeah.
after they learn to walk. 1.5 வயசு 1.25 வயசு என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, they take you to the room where they want breast milk. So this I used to get, and I have to wear comfortable clothing. So that was another thing. Why you இந்த பிரச்சனைனால சொல்றேன், stop feeding. So and then there are some days, nights have been miserable. So my mother would come and say, my husband would come and say, எதுக்கு இவ்ளோ கஷ்டம்? Stop. It's done and dusted. Yeah, he's had till 1.5 years. Stop. But all that I will come to my mind is the first 5 months that I went through. And all that pain, I didn't switch to formula, so I'm not going to naturally wean him. When he decides, he's going to stop. Because until a certain age, breast milk is more about nutrition and all that. But after that, it's about comfort. It's about a mood lifter. Your child falls down, you immediately breastfeed, the baby is fine.
Yeah.
Cold and cough, fever, the baby is not eating anything, but the baby is breastfeeding, and then you're doing good. So it's a rescue. Most of the cases, it's a rescue. So I went ahead. But when after this pregnancy, what happened is I would talk to my son saying that the little one will also want to be breastfed.
Uh,
And he started seeing all his cousins, they don't breastfeed. So he
okay.
started. So he was like, no, I'm going to stop. And he was like, you just pat me and I will sleep. Though
Wow.
in the initial days he would breastfeed, and then he would say that I'm done, and then he would turn the other side and he would say pat, and then he will sleep. And then he slowly came to a stage where he would just patting would work. But I have had days when people said he will never wean, because he, no matter 2.5, 3 years, he would day feeding was continuous, 4 to 5 times in the daytime and nights and all, every 1.5 hour to 2 hours he would feed. So I never thought he would wean so beautifully, but it went in so beautifully with no guilt, no tantrums, no trauma, nothing. Smooth alaga mudinjது. And I didn't feel guilty also. Because there
Okay.
are mothers who say that I stopped and I feel guilty. Because the child is wanting to be breastfed. நீ
And it's
எதுக்கு
so
அந்த guilt?
amazing to hear that the the child is able to accept it, and also giving that space to mom also to accept the fact that the baby is fine, right? So that is so amazing, nice, very nice to see how the baby has transitioned,
Now he would
and they are
say
able
that
to accept it.
he would say now, if when the baby is born, he would say that அந்த பாப்பா வந்து என்ன மாதிரி குடிக்கலன்னா நான் சொல்லி கொடுக்குறேன். And this is what his current state is. அது எப்படியும் குடிச்சிரும், அது குடிக்கலன்னா நான் சொல்லி தரேன். This is what he says these days. So I never thought this would happen so nicely, but it.
It okay, very nice. Um,
Mm.
so we have cleared most of you have cleared most of our doubts. So what I will do is I will save this video. If in case anyone has a question, probably I will request them to put it in the comments, so they can actually directly even take a consultation from you, because you also take one-on-one consultation. So whoever is listening to this video can directly contact Annapoorna and get your doubts sorted, because she's certified lactation counselor and also infant massage trainer. You can always reach out to her for any doubts. So thank you, Annapoorna, for joining
Thank you
us.
so much for the live. Thank you so much for inviting me for the live. I know you're having a very busy schedule and there are n number of people you could have reached out to, but thank you for choosing me, picking up me and catching up with me for a live.
I had a very good information passing from you to me. So thank you. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Yeah,
Thanks.
welcome.